When it came to superhero video games, 2021 was a year full of surprises. Surprise announcements, surprise releases, and surprisingly good games. But 2021 is gone now, a thing of the past. Girl, move on. At the start of every year, I like to put together the most comprehensive guide to upcoming games starring our favourite comic book characters. From confirmed titles, to rampant speculation on rumours, and everything in between. Hey heroes, I'm Josh from Panels to Pixels, and this is every upcoming Marvel and DC game you can look forward to playing in 2022 and beyond. Announced during last year's Gamescom, Marvel's Midnight Suns is an all-new tactical RPG from XCOM developer Firaxis Games and publisher 2K. With an all-star cast of mighty Marvel superheroes including Iron Man, Wolverine, Blade, Ghost Rider, and Doctor Strange, Midnight Suns features card-based tactical combat and promises to show players a darker side of the Marvel universe. Take control of a fully customizable hero known as the Hunter, as you take down the evil forces of Hydra and Lilith, Mother of Demons. Bad freaking ass. Initially scheduled for March this year, Marvel's Midnight Suns is now due to drop in the second half of 2022, with Firaxis promising that those extra months will be used to add more story, cinematics, and overall polish. Now, anybody who has been following Panels to Pixels for a while will know that spooky, supernatural superhero stuff is right in my wheelhouse. So you better believe that I'll be there day one when this game hits PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Nothing could stop the critical and commercial juggernaut of Marvel's Spider-Man on PS4, plus its 2020 spin-off Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. So it was inevitable that a proper sequel would be webbing its way to us. And at the PlayStation Showcase back in September of last year, we got our first official look at Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Insomniac Games are swinging back into action for an all-new tale of superhero derring-do. In a short teaser trailer, we see both Spider-Mans teaming up to mop up miscreants, while a mysterious voiceover hints at the debut of Kraven the Hunter. Yuri Lowenthal and Nadji Jeter return as the voices of Peter Parker and Miles Morales respectively, and I think we can infer from this footage that both will be playable in some capacity. Whether that will be switchable on the fly, or even open the door to two-player co-op remains to be seen. But of course, the real mic drop moment of the teaser came right at the end, with the introduction of one of Spidey's most formidable foes. Voiced here by Candyman's own Tony Todd, Venom is so hot right now. I know a lot of people are suckers for symbiotes, and after the cliffhanger ending of the first game, it's exciting to see how the alien goop will play a role in the sequel's story. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is currently slated for a 2023 release exclusively on PlayStation 5. But that wasn't the only upcoming Marvel game that Insomniac announced last year, as the Spider-Man developer also showed off a short teaser trailer for an upcoming Wolverine game. Ooh, spiky. Not much is known about this highly anticipated action game starring everyone's favourite Canadian Claw Daddy, but the short cinematic teaser is surprisingly dense with details and Easter eggs. From establishing that the bar in which we see Logan is located on the fictional island of Madripoor, home to many of the Knucklehead's comic book capers, to references to Wolverine's first appearance in The Incredible Hulk issue 181. We even get a nod to Earth 1048, or 1048, whatever you want to call it, suggesting that this game takes place in the Insomniac Spider-Man universe. By the way, shout out to my buddy Chris Baker for his top-notch detective work there. Look, we haven't had a proper X-Men console game since 2011's X-Men Destiny, and now, over a decade later, players are clamouring for some merry Marvel mutant mayhem. Let's face it, a third-person hack-and-slash Wolverine game seems pretty hard to screw up, but speaking as someone who has mixed feelings about Insomniac's Spider-Man output, let's just say I'm cautiously optimistic about this one. But I swear to God, if all you do in the game is fight robots and dudes in mech suits, with no fixed release window, Marvel's Wolverine is reportedly early in its development, and coming exclusively to PlayStation 5. As Marvel's Avengers hobbles its way into 2022, I'm honestly amazed that I'm still talking about this game over a year after its disappointing launch. Plagued by bugs, underwhelming gameplay, and some of the sleaziest monetization I've ever experienced in a game, Avengers' development team has been stripped back to a skeleton crew as the game struggles to earn its money back. All the while, Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics have insisted that they are committed to supporting Avengers for the foreseeable future, even bringing on ex-Marvel Heroes dev Brian Wagner as a system designer. A few months ago, Avengers game leaker Miller on Twitter suggested that She-Hulk might be set to appear in the game very soon, and this was seemingly confirmed by the character's voice actor, Krypto Barros. Meanwhile, data leaks from when the game first announced suggested that War Machine, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Wasp, and the Winter Soldier were all, at one point at least, intended to be added as DLC characters. But let's be real here, with its ever-dwindling player base, there's no denying that Avengers has been a commercial flop. Square Enix simply cannot continue to support this game indefinitely unless it starts to turn a profit, and even the recent addition of the PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man has done little to bolster the game's numbers. As Avengers players await a long overdue roadmap for the coming year, it's sad to say that the game's future remains uncertain. In October 2021, it was announced that Marvel would be partnering with Skydance New Media to develop, quote, a narrative-driven, blockbuster action-adventure game featuring a completely original story and take on the Marvel Universe. Skydance New Media is a new interactive division of the production company behind the most recent Mission Impossible films, and is being helmed by video game industry veteran Amy Hennig, who is best known as the creative director and lead writer of the Uncharted series. The press release goes on to promise, quote, a new category of story-focused interactive entertainment, a groundbreaking convergence of games, film, and television. Okay, colour me intrigued. There's no date on this one yet, and honestly, who knows what the hell it'll turn out to be. But with the calibre of talent working on it, this might be one to watch. Keep 'em peeled, true believers. And finally, on the Marvel front, something incredibly vague and worth taking with a pinch of salt. Back in November last year, an investor presentation was published online by Enad Global 7, a video game holding company, which appeared to confirm that a new AAA Marvel MMO is being developed by the same studio that brought us DC Universe Online. This unannounced Marvel MMORPG is slated as a longer-term project and is being developed by Dimensional Ink Studios, led by Jack Emmett, who designed and helmed City of Heroes and currently leads the 10-year-old DCUO. Now, as I said, this one hasn't been officially announced or anything, and these kind of things are constantly in various stages of development, and sometimes they even come and go without us ever even hearing about them. So until we get something concrete on this new Marvel MMO, I wouldn't hold your breath. Alright, we've just about exhausted the list of upcoming Marvel games, so now it's time to talk about the distinguished competition. After a few years of, let's be honest, not a lot, Warner Brothers are finally firing up the DC video game making machine. And first off the bat, pun intended, we have Gotham Knights. This is the long-awaited open-world action RPG from WB Games Montreal, the developers behind 2013's criminally underrated Batman Arkham Origins. After the supposed death of Bruce Wayne, players must take control of 4 of the Dark Knight's BFFs, as Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Red Hood, with each having their own unique playstyles and abilities. Gotham Knights can be played in either solo mode or 2-player co-op, as you defend the streets of Gotham City from the contemptible Court of Owls. Although this game is explicitly not set in the same continuity as the Arkham games, I'm just jazzed as hell to get back to some bad guy butt-kicking in Batman's backyard. Originally set to release in 2021, Gotham Knights is now slated for a 2022 release and will be available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S/X, and PC. Now, if you're bored of always playing as the hero, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League might just be the game for you. From Rocksteady Studios, the creators of the Batman Arkham series, this genre-defying action-adventure third-person shooter allows players to take control of Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark as they take down the mind-controlled Justice League in an open-world metropolis. Although the game will be playable in single-player, the team-based nature of Task Force X allows for up to 4-player online multiplayer. At one point before it was officially announced, there were some rumblings about Rocksteady's Suicide Squad title being a live service game. But to be honest, the frosty reception to Marvel's Avengers may well have encouraged Warner Brothers to play that element down in the final release. Marred by allegations of sexual harassment and a toxic workplace environment at Rocksteady Studios, plus the fact that James Gunn's Suicide Squad failed to light up box offices last year, I'm not sure how much hype there really is for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But I guess we'll find out at some point in 2022 when the game hits PS5, Xbox Series X and Series S, and PC. MultiVersus is an upcoming free-to-play fighting game featuring various Warner Media characters, including a bunch of DC characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Harley Quinn, as well as DC locations such as the Batcave. Developed by Player First Games, I think it's fair to say that this platform fighter owes its inspiration to Nintendo's hugely popular Super Smash Bros. Series. But Warner Bros. Have pulled out all the stops here, including a bunch of iconic characters such as Bugs Bunny, Steven Universe, Tom and Jerry, and even the Ultra Instinct Shaggy Rogers meme. I think I understood less than 50% of the words I just said. Kevin Conroy once again returns as the iconic voice of Batman, with George Newbern and Tara Strong reprising their roles as Superman and Harley Quinn from various animated shows and video games. Plus, the developers promise swappable character skins and new characters in the future. Okay, so it's essentially Warner Bros. Corporate portfolio turned into a video game. That's admittedly a bit gross. But you know what? As somebody who has never really owned a Nintendo console, I've somehow never played a Smash Bros. Game. I know, right? Not even at a friend's house or anything. So if MultiVersus is my introduction to this style of fighting game, plus I get to play as DC's Trinity, well, sign me the hell up. MultiVersus is set to release sometime in 2022 on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. DC League of Super Pets: The Adventures of Krypto and Ace is... Oh man, do I really have to talk about this one? Well, I did say every Marvel and DC game, so here we go. DC League of Super Pets: The Adventures of Krypto and Ace is an upcoming animated film based on DC's Legion of Super Pets. It stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart, which sounds f***ing unbearable if you ask me, and it's getting a tie-in game. Suit up as both Krypto the Superdog and Ace the Bat-Hound and soar through the streets of Metropolis in this on-rails action-adventure game. Now look, to be fair, this game is clearly aiming itself at a younger audience, not at crotchety old YouTubers like myself. And considering how hard recent Marvel games have leaned on including petable dogs in their games, and then paying gimmick Twitter accounts to tweet about what a ootsy-cootsy best boy 11 out of 10 doggo it is, perhaps a virtual dog is all you need to make a game successful nowadays. Well, this one has too. Beat that, the House of Ideas. DC League of Super Pets: The Adventures of Krypto and Ace is slated for a spring 2022 release on PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. And if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll review it. Back in 2019, fans of Telltale's The Wolf Among Us were pleasantly surprised when a second season was announced at that year's Game Awards. If you're not familiar with this fan-favourite franchise, The Wolf Among Us is an episodic adventure game based on DC's Fables comic. It's generally considered to be one of the better titles to come from Telltale games, alongside their adaptations of other comic book properties like Batman and The Walking Dead. A second season was first announced in 2017, but when Telltale was forced to shut up shop the following year, most assumed that the book had been closed on Bigby Wolf and his world of fables. Now, in 2022, there's been very little news about The Wolf Among Us 2, which is being developed by a newly reformed version of the once-defunct studio. In an end of 2021 update posted to Twitter, Telltale promised to offer some news on the game early this year. Meanwhile, the latest issue of Game Informer magazine reveals a few little details, including that the story is set 6 months after the 2013 original, the game is in full production, the script is finalised, and that motion capture is underway. We also learned that the team has switched to Unreal Engine for the sequel, which has streamlined the development process. So, still no confirmed release for The Wolf Among Us 2, but we do know that it will be coming to PC and consoles eventually? Perhaps the biggest surprise on this list came just last month with the announcement of an all-new Wonder Woman game. You know how long it's been since we last got a solo Wonder Woman game? 4.5 billion years. Because there has never been a solo Wonder Woman game. How crazy is that? Literally the third biggest DC superhero and one of the most widely known comic book characters of all time. And video games have just been like, Wonder who? Never heard of her. But not anymore, baby. Announced during the 2021 Game Awards with a very brief cinematic teaser, Wonder Woman is being developed by Monolith Productions, the studio behind Middle-earth: Shadow of War, and incidentally 2012's often overlooked DC game Gotham City Imposters. According to a brief description accompanying the teaser, the single-player open-world action game will introduce an original story set in the DC universe, and allow players to become Diana of Themyscira in the fight to unite her Amazon family and the humans from the modern world. We also know that the third-person Wonder Woman game will make use of Middle-earth: Shadow of War's popular Nemesis system, which allows the game's narrative to be shaped by player choices and actions. There's currently no confirmed release date for the game, and in fact we don't even know what platforms it's being developed for. but I'd say it's safe to assume that this long overdue Wonder Woman title will be playable on PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. And finally, returning briefly to WB Games Montreal, it was revealed back in 2018 that in addition to Gotham Knights, the Arkham Origins developers were working on a second unannounced DC title. Very little is known about this other mystery project, although job descriptions posted on the studio's site point to a third-person open-world action game. Well, that narrows it down a bit. With Gotham Knights hopefully just around the corner now, I wouldn't expect to hear anything official on this mystery game anytime soon. But suffice to say that the future is finally looking a little bit brighter for DC video game fans. Thanks for watching this video. If you love comic books, video games, cartoons, toys, and all that good stuff, subscribe to Panels to Pixels, and don't forget to give that bell icon a little ring-a-ding-ding so you never miss out on future videos. I'm right around 50,000 subscribers at the time of recording this, and I've got more videos planned for this year than I've ever had before. All of which is to say that I think 2022 is going to be the biggest year yet for Panels to Pixels, and I'm really excited to have you all on board for the ride. So until then, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.